Contrary to popular belief, Islam is not a new religion that came into existence a mere 1400 years ago. Islam in truth has existed since the first moment that man set foot on earth. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was the last prophet tasked with conveying the final form of Islam, which was the continuation, the culmination, the completion of Allah's universal message to mankind, as revealed to all of Allah's previous messengers and prophets. In the 6th century CE, Arabia was a polytheistic society with many gods and goddesses worshipped by different tribes and communities. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was born into a family of merchants who were active in the trade routes throughout Arabia, and he was exposed to the religious beliefs and practices of many different communities during his travels. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was often conflicted about the beliefs and evil practices of his people. Around the age of 40, he started to experience visions that would come true. During that time, he frequently meditated in the cave of Hira, located on the outskirts of Mecca. But on one fateful night in 610 CE, while in solitude at the cave of Hira, the revelation of the glorious Quran began. The Night of Glory, which Muslims refer to as Laylatul-Qadr, is a night that marks the revelation of the Quran to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, by the angel Jibreel. Allah revealed the glorious Quran in parts over a period of 23 years to the Prophet. However, the first revelation happened on the Night of Glory and marks a significant moment in the founding of Islam. The exact date of the Night of Glory is unknown. However, it is known that it is one of the odd nights of the last 10 nights of Ramadan, the 9th month of the lunar year. It is considered the holiest and most significant night for Muslims, who spend entire nights in prayer and devotion, hoping to earn its blessings. The Revelation. The account of the first revelation was narrated as follows. The angel came to him and asked him to read. The Prophet replied, I do not know how to read. The Prophet added, the angel caught me forcibly and pressed me so hard that I could not bear it anymore. He then released me and again asked me to read, and I replied, I do not know how to read. Thereupon he caught me again and pressed me a second time till I could not bear it anymore. He then released me and again asked me to read, but again I replied, I do not know how to read. Thereupon he caught me for the third time and pressed me, and then released me and said, read in the name of your Lord who created man from a clinging clot. Read, and your Lord is the most generous, who taught by the pen. Bukhari. At first, Muhammad, peace be upon him, was confused and didn't understand the experience. After he described what had happened to his wife Khadija, she comforted him and stood by his side. Upon receiving further revelation, he was instructed to convey Islam to his people. However, unlike Khadija, they were not so understanding, and most of them rejected his message. They believed his words would anger their gods and disrupt their prosperous trade routes. Despite this, the people refrained from taking any action beyond harsh words because Muhammad's, peace be upon him, wife held a great deal of influence in Mecca, and his uncle Abu Talib was the chief of the Banu Hashim clan. This provided Muhammad, peace be upon him, with some degree of protection. However, in the year 619 CE, both Khadija and Abu Talib passed away. This became known as the Year of Sorrow, and following his mourning, Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his small group of followers were exposed to physical persecution from the Quraysh tribe that controlled Mecca. Migration, Hijra. In 620 CE, during the pilgrimage season, Muhammad, peace be upon him, met with delegates from Medina and presented the message of Islam to them. Convinced by his words, they accepted Islam and promised to preach it to their people. They hoped to unite the bickering tribes of Medina under the banner of Islam. Their efforts were quite successful, and Islam spread throughout Medina. 2 years later, a group of 73 men and 2 women traveled from Medina to Mecca, about 400 kilometers, to secretly give their pledge of allegiance to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Upon hearing about the incident and fearing the consequences of Islam gaining ground, the people of Quraysh planned to assassinate him. Allah revealed their plots to Muhammad, peace be upon him, and permitted him to leave for Medina. This journey is known as the Hijra. During his time in Medina, Prophet Muhammad continued to receive visits from Angel Jibreel and shared the divine messages with his growing following. Islam spread far and wide, and it wasn't long before the first Islamic community was established. This model for the Islamic State was based on the principles of sovereignty of Allah, justice, consultation, and accountability. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, led the people of Medina through thick and thin and fostered a strong sense of community and brotherhood among the believers. Prophet Muhammad's return to Mecca. In 628 CE, Muhammad saw in a dream that he, along with his followers, had performed pilgrimage in Mecca. He saw this as a directive from Allah. Therefore, he embarked on a journey to Mecca along with 1,500 followers. The Quraysh tribe did not want them to enter Mecca as it would make the Meccans look weak, so they sent a messenger to Muhammad, peace be upon him, to negotiate with him and sign a 10-year truce. This was called the Treaty of Hudaybiyyah, named after the location where it was signed. Hudaybiyyah, the turning point. The Treaty of Hudaybiyyah was signed between the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and the Meccans in 628 AD and contained the following terms. 1. The Muslims had to return to Medina this time, but would be allowed to enter Mecca the following year to perform the pilgrimage. 2. The Muslims would not be allowed to carry any weapons with them on the pilgrimage except sheathed swords in their bags for self-defense. 3. Any Meccan who wished to join the Muslims and migrate to Medina would have to be returned to Mecca, but any Medinan who wished to join the people of Mecca and migrate to Mecca would not be returned. 4. The two sides would refrain from any hostilities or violence for the duration of the treaty. 5. Other tribes were allowed to join the treaty with them and choose where their allegiance lied. Importance of the treaty. The Treaty of Hudaybiyyah was a significant moment in Islamic history for several reasons. Firstly, it allowed the Muslims to perform the pilgrimage to Mecca, which was a sacred duty for all believers but had been denied to them for many years. This was a major symbolic victory for the Muslims and helped to boost their morale and confidence. Secondly, the treaty marked a turning point in the conflict between the Muslims and the Meccans. The truce allowed both sides to step back from the brink of war and gave them an opportunity to negotiate a peaceful resolution to their differences. Thirdly, the treaty demonstrated the Prophet Muhammad's skill as a negotiator and his commitment to finding peaceful and practical solutions to conflicts. The terms of the treaty were not entirely favorable to the Muslims, however. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, understood that this was the best possible outcome at the time and was willing to make concessions for the sake of peace. Lessons for Muslims today. The Treaty of Hudaybiyyah holds many important lessons for Muslims today. Firstly, it teaches us the importance of patience, perseverance, and trust in Allah's plan. The Muslims had been struggling for many years to establish their religion and faced numerous obstacles and setbacks along the way. However, they did not give up hope, and eventually their patience and perseverance paid off. At a time when Arabian tribes were divided and often in conflict, Muhammad, peace be upon him's message of monotheism and social justice resonated with many. By uniting these tribes under a common religious and political banner, Islam fostered unity and cooperation among its followers. This unifying force is still evident today, as Muslims from diverse backgrounds and cultures find common ground in their shared faith. Expansion of Islam under Muhammad, peace be upon him's leadership. The Muslims achieved a series of military victories. These successes not only expanded the reach of Islam, but also lent credibility to his prophetic claims. As the Muslim empire grew, so too did the influence of Islam, which ultimately led to its establishment as a major world religion. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him's teachings emphasized the importance of tolerance towards people of other faiths. Communities that formed alliances with the Muslims were not only afforded protection, they were also allowed to practice their rituals and apply their own laws when solving disputes among themselves. The diverse and thriving society that resulted from this coexistence allowed for the exchange of ideas and the flourishing of art, science, and culture. Prophet Muhammad's death. Muhammad, peace be upon him, passed away in 632 CE. During his 23 years of prophecy, he not only established the 5 pillars of Islam, the testimony of faith, the prayer, the obligatory charity, the fasting, and the pilgrimage to Mecca, but left behind the blueprint for the submission of one's will to the Creator, the Sunnah. The Sunnah is a compilation of Prophet Muhammad's guidance and practices that Muslims adhere to in all aspects of their lives. It is integral for Islamic law and is second in importance only to the Quran. Islam has grown to become the second largest religion on earth. Thus, Prophet Muhammad's legacy continues to shape the lives of billions of people across the globe, ensuring that the influence of the Prophet remains relevant in today's world.
Unlock spiritual enrichment with One Islam TV app. Immerse yourself in a unique experience that is music-free, fully halal, and continuously updated with fresh content daily. Enjoy a user-friendly experience with features that allow you to save your favorite videos, create personalized playlists, and download and watch your content offline. Download the One Islam TV app now and embark on a transformative journey where faith and entertainment unite.